luckily for you, you'd had a few days away from me, because
because
at that point I was becoming a bit unbearable.
I actually remember getting to the airport thinking, thank God I've gone away for the weekend.
Welcome to this episode of
the Fordisons podcast.
It's been a bit longer than normal,
because
of things and
events and
life, and people being busy and us being busy and not being able to nail a date down to do some filming. But we finally got here, haven't we? So we'll go back to the last weekend of April, shall we? And we'll start there. So the last weekend of April,
what happened in April?
Well, just before, I'm just trying to remind you because it's a few weeks ago, a month. So the last weekend of April, or just before, you and your cycling partner flew out to meet your granddad.
My granddad, he's not going to let you call him a granddad on telly.
Oh, we weren't giving his name yet, so It's all right, unless he's really worried. You flew out to Mallorca, didn't you?
We did.
To tackle the famous Mallorca 312.
Yeah, so back in, I can't remember when it was last year, obviously, when I found out about my knee, I'd entered the 70.3.
You had?
For Mallorca, and no longer being able to run, I needed a substitute. So I looked at the calendar and saw that the Mallorca 312 was a week before the half Ironman. I thought, right, that's what I'm going to go do.
Just before you go any further, don't call it a half. You might get complaints. Call it a
70.3.
Just let's get that clear, because we will get
technically
complaints.
It's a middle distance and it is a half Ironman.
It is, yeah.
But it's also 70.3.
So it's a lot of things.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, we've got
that.
So say on the 70.3. Yeah.
So so we went to do the 312, which is
and just a bit of background, because 312.
It's an icon. So the 312 is a very iconic cycle race.
Yeah.
In Mallorca.
Yeah.
It used to be the lap of the island.
Yeah. Of the perimeter of
Mallorca.
The island. Yeah.
But over the years they've changed it. I'm not quite sure the reason why it changed. I'm sure someone will tell me, or I need to research why. But they changed the route, and they also, during this route of the 312, you can also do a 257 and a 113
something, can't you, as well?
Something.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different routes within one route.
Yeah.
Which makes it, commercially, it makes it a great event.
Because you're not just going to do the 312 kilometres.
190 miles.
More accessible.
We flew out on the
Thursday morning.
From Gatwick. So Shawnee and I entered the event. We didn't get a ballot entry, but we chose a company who organises sportives or special events kind of thing, and they booked our accommodation for us, and they got us the entry for it as well. So all we had to do was book our flights.
Yeah.
So no, it was great. The hotel that we chose was really nice. I think it was Sportive Breaks, I think we used. The hotel was
You said it was quite near the start, wasn't it?
On the start line, which was amazing. So literally, the hotel was open at 4:30 in the morning, or earlier than that, for breakfast. You had breakfast. We rolled out of the front door and we were on the start line. So unfortunately for us, there was the staggered start line. So you have ex-pros, VIPs, then you have locals, and then you have randomers, ballot people. And that's all segmented into different segments, and I think there was like 8,000 people that did it in total.
Yeah, so it's a big event, 8,000 people, and you basically were in nearly the last group, or the last group to set off, weren't you?
Yes, they told us that when we were in the red pen that we would have, if we got to the cut-offs, certain cut-offs, we would have an extra 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, on anyone else, because you were starting so late.
Late. So it was what it was, but yeah, so we rocked up, I think it was like 4:30 in the morning to the pen. We needed to get there early. I thought we need to get ahead of the game. But yeah, incredible event. You can't comprehend the amount of people that are all there just to cycle.
I mean, I've seen bits of footage from the start and all the people lining up, and I've seen bits of drone stuff of where obviously people are heading up Col de Femenia, which is the first climb, and it's
unbelievable.
Yeah, and it is. It's almost like a marathon, because that many people on the roads just full of bikes, and
so,
obviously it's not a marathon because it's cycling. But
I never actually comprehended how big an event it was. I underestimated that completely. Yeah. I knew it was going to be big, but not as big as it was.
Yeah.
And I also didn't quite understand its race. Now, I think that I loved that, the adrenaline pumping, and when we set off and people just flying past you in pelotons and all the way from Alcudia to Puerto Pollenza, it's flat and fast. I mean, I managed to get in with a certain group, but still people just like ping, 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 flying past you. So you've got to be an incredible cyclist and know how to ride and know how to...
You've got to be confident riding in with a lot of people, in groups, close to people's wheel. And
100%. So obviously I knew the first climb, so I thought, well, it's 190 miles, Ali, don't go too hard, too fast. It's like you're in your first 10 miles. First climb, a hug to the left, loved it, and just kept like passing loads of people that had like gone past me at the start and stuff, and yeah, incredible. Did that Col de Femenia, descended down, then went up, and then climbed up towards Soler, and then descended down there, and then it all went very horribly wrong.
It did, didn't it? Yeah, unfortunately you were 43 miles in?
45 miles in.
Of your 190.
Yeah.
And you had a little incident.
Yes, I did.
Which was, before you go into it, was a bit of a freak incident, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I'd climbed, I can't remember, Col de Femenia, dropped down, and then come into Soler, and as we dropped down, there was like a couple of roundabouts, and I was just starting to go up to start the next climb, and my arm warmer just fell out of my back pocket and into my derailleur, and snap, crack,
and
gone.
It literally snapped it off, didn't it?
Game over.
Yeah, after.
So everybody around me, well, all of a sudden, obviously, I was scared, because obviously, all of a sudden, it was like, I thought my chain had gone.
Yeah.
So I heard everybody shout. There's a lot of people with me. So I shouted, quickly unclipped. Luckily, I was on the inside, so I managed to just stop and not cause any incident. Looked at it and thought, I'm not going anywhere. I thought, right, brilliant. I'm at 43 miles of a 190 mile bike ride in Mallorca. Game over.
And that's it, bikes.
I took a quickly, I rang you, or I sent you a picture just to let you know, I mean, I'm okay. Hold back the tears, and I cried when I rang you,
But the main thing is you didn't. Looking back at it, obviously the way it jammed up, and like you say, you're always really careful. You put everything in your back pockets. You tuck them well in. So it was one of those things.
As obviously, I must have got into my pocket of
to
something,
get something out,
something's
and it
loosened, and that's what's happened. Yeah. So, but I'm always really conscious to make sure that everything is stuffed in my pockets. Yeah. I even had my gilet on, because it's cold when you start at 4:30 in the morning
cold.
in Mallorca. It's cold,
Yeah.
so you need your gilet, you need your arm warmers. But as soon as you hit the hills,
You warm up.
you warm up. And it wasn't. There wasn't overly warm temperatures in Mallorca. It was probably just like UK temperatures.
Well, the
so it's
weather had
nice.
been quite bad, hadn't
Yeah,
it?
it had been raining for weeks.
Just before you got
Yeah.
there, it had been quite rough. So
there was the first day where it was forecast to be dry and sunny. So I was loving it. I was really enjoying it. I was gutted, absolutely gutted. However, I turned that around. I was very
luckily
fortunate.
made some new friends from Norway.
I made some new friends from Norway. The broom wagon had contacted them, and they were taking far too long to turn up. Anyway, the guys that I'd met, they were just up the road. They had a cycle hire company in Puerto Pollensa or near there. They were obviously doing like an organised tour and just organising their own feed station. And they said to me, "Where are you going?" I said, "Play de Muro." I said, "Oh, it's your lucky day." So
Hop in the van.
I hopped in the van with them, bless them, and we headed back to Playa de Muro. So I was like the furthest. I couldn't have been more further away.
Yeah.
From the finish line. I was probably the furthest point of the island. So I'm very grateful for those two guys. Thank you very much. And they didn't want any money from me, so I gave them some money just to go buy them some beers and say thank you. So yeah, I went back, and Phil, who was there, Phil Binge, he carried on, and Sean, he carried on doing the event, and I spotted a bar on the corner on the finish line.
Finish line, so you
with a spare seat, and ordered myself an Aperol Spritz.
with your
and
name on it.
made the most of a bad day.
Yeah.
So I packed my bike away, got showered, and
waited at the finish.
Waited at the finish for the epic riders to come back in, which was amazing. I learnt a lot just by at the finish line of how people were racing and how they worked it. Got talking to quite a few people and stuff. So yeah, unfinished business. I will be back.
Yeah. Hopefully with no incidents next time.
No.
And fair play to Sean as well, because
my mechanic.
Because you got back. You got back on the. Did you get back on the Sunday night?
So we flew home the next day. We had an early flight, so it was a quick turnaround.
So you got back Sunday night with a knackered bike. Bearing in mind we were then going to Mallorca again
the following
weekend. You rang Sean, who then came to pick your bike up on Monday, ordered the parts, got it repaired, and had it back to you by Thursday.
Yeah. So Sean, thank you for that.
That was a quick turnaround. Yeah.
So
it's nearly brand new, that bike, isn't it now?
Yeah, but I'm due a new one now.
Well, you say you are. Not,
It's a few years old now.
Yeah, it is.
But no, I loved everything about that.
You loved all the experience and what it was, and unfortunately just had that incident. But I suppose you can also look back, think it happened where it did.
I was very
where
lucky.
You were just about to start a climb, so you were really lucky. Because if it had happened when you were descending,
I don't think I'd be here in this position now.
You probably wouldn't be sat there talking at the minute, would you?
No.
So you were lucky.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a bit of a freak accident, but it's just showing you know, you never know, do you, what's going to happen?
No.
So yeah, a slightly disappointing weekend for you.
Yeah.
But you went and you know what it's all about, and obviously
I've got experience now of understanding on how the event is organised, what to do, how to get the best out of it, where to take the start line, where to be on the start line, where to position yourself, where to the roundabouts and stuff and everything, because there's definitely advantages to be taken at the beginning because you need to get away from. So if my race mode's on, then but no, incredible event. You just don't comprehend it.
Yeah.
So
You saw Alberto Contador, didn't you?
Did see Alberto
he was there once in racing.
Yeah. So Mel, Mary, Sally and Fiona were out in Puerto Pollensa having a training week, and they met us at the expo, and all of a sudden there was a massive queue. I'm like, what's everyone queuing for? And it turns out it was Alberto Contador with his big shiny white teeth.
Yeah, there you go. He's just been to Turkey, hasn't he?
So that was the start of our Mallorca epic adventures.
It was,
basically.
wasn't it? And thankfully, luckily for you, you'd had a few days away from me, because
Yes, because
at
you've
that
been
point
an
I was becoming
nightmare.
I was becoming a bit unbearable.
I actually remember getting to the airport thinking, thank God I've gone away for the weekend.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It was a bit of a strange one for me. I couldn't really. Obviously,
So-
was counting down to obviously going back to Mallorca for me to race in the 70.3 along with Clarkey, who's been on as a guest. Unfortunately, Luke didn't make the start, but obviously his time will come. And I was having a bit of a meltdown a couple of weeks before. I just couldn't, I don't know, I didn't know why. I was even at the point of the week before the race, when you were away, at the point of thinking, I don't even want to do it. I was actually thinking, I don't even want to race. I don't want to go. I couldn't work out what was going on and why I felt like that. And
I remember sitting in the airport when we were flying out and said to Shawnee about, how are you? I was like, it's not in a good place. I said, I'm actually quite worried. I said, I'm actually worried about being away this weekend. I said, I feel like I need to be at home just purely.
I think the best thing for you was probably to get away from me, wasn't it?
It was, to be honest, but
yeah.
I was more worried about not being at home as well, because I was like, yeah, you just weren't.
Yeah, it was strange. I don't know why, because training was going all right. I wasn't really where I wanted to be running. I still aren't. I haven't been this year since I've been struggling with my knee, but I'm at a point where I can run. Cycling was going okay. Swimming was going okay. Something in my head just was not where it should have been. And I just couldn't. The problem was, I think, it was because I couldn't put my finger on what it was. If I knew what it was, I could have fixed it, but I didn't know. And obviously I didn't say anything to anyone because I couldn't work out what it was that was the problem. And even like up to the point where we were packing the bikes to go back and everything, it was just... and I don't think I was right until we went in and had a swim. We arrived on the Thursday, didn't we? Early afternoon.
Even travelling, you were a bit, weren't you?
Thursday afternoon we got there, didn't we? Early. Got the bikes put together because you were going out on the Friday, obviously with Phil, who was still there on his 3-week holiday.
Grandpa.
Grandpa and Steno. So you were going out on bikes. So we built the bikes, and then a load of us, 11 of us who were racing, were all going for a swim. And I don't think it was until I went in the water and swam that I felt all right.
You did seem a little bit like...
Once I came back out of the swim, it was almost like, oh, I'm all right now.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I hadn't swum in the sea, because I had in Lanzarote on tri-camp. It wasn't that. All I could put it down to was not knowing. I like to be familiar with my surroundings, and I like to know what's what. And Wales wasn't an issue because I'd been with you the year before when you raced, so I knew it. I knew where transition was. I knew where the swim was. I knew where the run course was because we'd been and wrecked it, and I'd been on the bike course, I'd done it. So I knew everything. Going to Mallorca, I hadn't done any of it. The only bit I'd done was I had biked the course on full gas. So I had biked the course, so I knew the bike course, which did make me feel a bit better. But
yeah,
the
whoever
swim,
suggested that, I think Stephen suggested that to you, hadn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I'm pleased that you took
yeah,
that
and
up,
I think everybody
because
might
once you'd done full gas, you did seem to be a little bit calmer after that, because you were like, I understand it a little bit more now.
I won't lie, it was the climb that was bothering me because I'm not great at climbing, and obviously there's quite a long climb. The climb is 16k in total to the top of Col de Femenia. So that was worrying me because I'm not great. I just go backwards when I'm going uphill, so I knew that was going to take me a long time, and I'd already got to the point of ticking over in my head thinking, how long's the bike going to take me? Realistically, the swim's going to be 40 minutes. The bike's going to take me, I had no idea. I was thinking 3.5 hours, 3 hours 45 because of this climb. I know after that it's a descent and then it's reasonably flat. But
I was more worried about you in the descent.
I wasn't worried about that. I'm more worried about getting up there. It's not coming down. But it was just how long it was going to take. And I was thinking it might take me 3 hours 45. It could take me 4 hours. I had no idea how long it was going to take. That was the bit that was worrying me. But it couldn't have gone much better, to be honest. Really. Me and Simon Barker had a little chat when we were on the bike heading out towards Pollensa. We kept sort of passing each other, so we were sort of having a few words and what have you. Then we saw Phil at the side of the road near the roundabout, who shouted some abuse at me because he obviously thought I wasn't trying hard enough, so I had to then put the hammer down a bit. But the climb couldn't have gone much better. Went fine.
What time did you do the climbing?
Well, I want to see how I'm going to mention this, because you've done that climb a few times. You've done it in race mode on the 312.
Yeah, but I was the first.
Oh, hang on, but
race mode of doing a 190-mile bike ride.
Yeah.
That was the first climb. My goal was, don't blow up on this climb.
Yeah, that's very sensible.
You need to just be very conservative. So I'm just putting it out there.
I did
not race that climb.
I would also like to say that for someone who's not a great cyclist, me, on a 70.3 on a 56-mile bike, you also need to not nail the climb because you need to save your legs a bit, because you've also got to run at the end. So
it's only half a day though, isn't it?
Well, it is, but that for some of us is still a long time, and I was still conscious of not blowing up. But I was thinking, you know what, I feel quite good here, so I'm just going to keep pushing a bit, and I feel good, and kept catching people and passing them. Obviously, there's a lot of people overtaking me. I'm, flying past me. Like you said, the bit where you're on the run to, you come out of Alcudia and head down to Port of Pollensa with the sea on your right hand side. There's people coming past there on TT bikes going like hell, and I'm thinking, well, I'm doing like 20 odd mile an hour, and I don't really want to be going any quicker because I'm just trying to get warm.
I'm trying to get warmed up. Doing like 25 mile an hour.
Well, there's people absolutely flying past, but I tell you what, you pass a lot of them when you're going back up the hill again. When you get there, it's like, oh, I remember you as well. It's quite, and that's sort of keeps you going.
That's a game plan.
Yeah, and I always like to have a plan, and I did have a plan. The swim went better than I thought.
You had an amazing swim.
I know, 35 minutes for the
Incredible
swim, which is the fastest I've ever swum 1.9k, because normally I'm 40 minutes, so I was fast for the swim, so I was mega happy with that. And then the bike, I had to dig in at the end on the last...
Did you have headwind on the...
Yeah, there was quite a bit of... I'm sure the rest of the guys and girls who did the race will verify.
So I'd recce the bike route the day before.
You had?
So we'd gone out and we'd done the route, so we knew exactly where it would be, and we looked at the wind direction, and we looked at the wind direction on race day, and it was identical. So literally when you come down the climb and then you hit the
you
flats.
go through Campanile, don't you, and a couple of other little towns, and then you get to the bit where you are on sort of flat roads. They're not main roads, are they? They're quite rough as well. And then you
shout out to Phil on that one, because bless him.
Oh, a little bit of shout out to Grandpa, because he sent us a list of things to look out for on the bike route. Watch out for this at such and such a town. Look out for this. Watch that. Watch there's a random speed bump or this, that, and the other.
Junction turn left. Go up
exactly, and loads of stuff which I sort of mentally went through, and having done the course on full gas, sort of knew where they were.
Yeah.
Because there was one bit where there was some like weird sort of rumble strips on the right hand side of the road.
Yes, that's
coming into Campanile probably. So you're going quite fast coming into there.
Yeah, descending.
Yeah, and these weird sort of rumble strips on the right, but there ain't any on the left.
Yeah.
So as I was coming down there, Campanile. Oh, I need to be on the other side of the road. So I just moved to the other side of the road, and everybody else was going over the rumble strips, and I just went straight past. So thanks, Phil. All those little things did help. Yeah. Being in the right gear for that 10% climb and what have you. It was.
So how do you rate the bike course?
Oh, the bike course was brilliant. I'm getting to enjoy cycling more, but I think that's because I'm getting better. But
what you haven't said is that yes, you now hold the house record.
Oh, sorry. What do you say? I wasn't going to say it.
I'm not bothered.
I wasn't going to say it.
I wasn't in race mode, so I'm quite happy that you beat me by 6 seconds.
So the climb, the Col de Femina climb, which obviously
I'm very proud of you.
There's a sign at the bottom when you start the climb, and there's a sign at the top. So
and Strava told us you are 6 seconds quicker.
7 seconds.
Oh, sorry.
I actually did you by 7 seconds. Yeah, but for me to actually beat you on a climb.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. So thanks. Yeah, but I did. I'm sure that you'll be grabbing that.
Just to let you know, I'm not going to the Ironman next week.
Oh, you're going back to Mallorca? Okay. Well, I'm off to the TT.
I need my crown back.
You can do what you want. I'm going there. So, yeah, the bike course was brilliant. I really enjoyed the bike course.
Yeah,
Mallorca's so scenic for cycling. We're going back there obviously for tri-camp next year.
We haven't really spoken about the first time we went to Mallorca cycling.
Why do we need to speak about that?
Because I think it's a good part of the journey that you talk about when I took you to the lighthouse.
Oh yeah, the lighthouse. Oh, very scenic, beautiful
What year
ride.
would that
The
have been?
lighthouse ride. Oh well, you.
Just after COVID, wasn't it?
Ooh.
Was it?
No, it was before COVID.
Was it?
Yeah, I hadn't started swimming at that point. Because that was when I swam halfway down the pool and
Had a
nearly
panic
drowned
attack.
and had a panic attack and had to go
Yeah.
outside the pool.
So just
it
put
was
things
probably
in
about 2018.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So yeah, and I took you up the lighthouse, didn't I?
You did take me to the lighthouse.
We went and hired you a bike, and
You
you bought
did.
yourself some lycra to become the mammal of the
I
day.
I did it in a pair of trainers though.
You did,
Yeah.
yeah. And we biked up to the lighthouse, which you didn't realise where it was, and was under false pretences, thinking that you were looking on the beach, thinking it was just up there.
It wasn't, was
No,
it?
was it?
No.
So just to put things into perspective, your first journey out in Mallorca.
I'm looking forward next year to going back to the lighthouse on
We're doing
tri-camp.
tri-camp, aren't we?
Yeah, because cycling's great in Mallorca.
Yes, it is.
It's
Incredible.
the roads are not any better or any in better condition than Lanzarote, but it's so
Scenic.
much more scenic and takes your mind
There's
off it
so
if you're
much,
climbing.
there's so many more routes. There's so
Yeah,
many
so much-
options. You can have flat routes. You can have lumpy
Yeah.
routes. You can have
Oh, yeah,
lumpy
you
and
can.
flat routes. There's loads of different. There's loads that you've not even seen it yet, but obviously, whilst you were racking and racing or the day before, and Phil took us out on different routes and things. So it was really nice to explore. You can explore Mallorca on a bike, whereas Lanzarote you can explore it, but once you've done it,
You've done it.
you've done it.
Yeah.
Like the main routes and
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm excited to go back next year.
Yeah. It's,
good.
Yeah, and it is pretty.
Yeah.
Scenic, get a bit of a view, nice to look at,
Yeah.
and it takes your mind off it when even on the climb, every now and
Yeah.
again, just look
The
over to the
views.
side, look at the view, just take your mind off it, and just instead of looking at someone else's wheel and trying to catch them. Yeah, I mean, like you said, the mountains on the west coast, but then the centre of the island, or towards the north, definitely in the centre, is really flat, pan flat, more or less. The last 20 mile of the bike course, it was. There was groups of 10 drafting.
You was on about this.
When we were climbing, you were probably 3 abreast on the road, on the climb at some points, because you were probably overtaking someone who was on the inside, and then someone was overtaking you. So when you overtook, you obviously pulled in, but there's no way that person could then drop back 10 metres, because it'd be physically impossible, because they get overtaken by 5 more people. But the referees were coming past on the scooters, shouting 10 metres to everybody.
Which I find quite bizarre,
But it
because
was
you're
weird.
going uphill.
Exactly,
So
you're not gaining anything.
the-
And what everyone was
the rules
doing...
used to always be, well, if I'm wrong, but I'm sure they used to always say that if you're going uphill, you're not actually gaining anything.
I thought that, well...
But I don't know.
People were pulling out and passing people. They weren't just sitting on people's wheels.
okay.
They were pulling out and passing. So and there wasn't any. The drafting all happened on the fast part at the end, on the last 20 miles, where there was a bit of headwind. People were just tucked in groups. You'd be thinking, God, this is hard work. The next thing, 5 or 6 of them had come past, but.
I mean, I could tell that on the finish line because of how people came through on groups.
They're all coming in groups.
Yeah, and there's obviously people sporadically just coming through, and you thought, actually, that they've worked on their own.
Yeah, because
they've done it right. So, but the people that come in the groups, there's just big clumps of people coming through. So knew that.
And on that bit, there was no referees in sight.
No.
On the bit where you knew they were going to be drafting, there was no one there.
Bizarre.
I think Steve said something about there was a group in front of him. And they were all working together and taking it in turns on the front. So, obviously getting an advantage. But anyway, that's how it is.
So, you enjoyed the bike course.
Yeah, good. I did, and I came in feeling quite good after the bike.
So just over the 3 hours?
Yeah, 3 hours. That's 3 hours 8. So a lot better than I thought I was going to be. To be anywhere near 3 hours, I was well happy because I thought I was going to be at least 3 hours 30. So I was really happy with that. I felt strong when I came in off the bike. Wasn't really tired
You were
or
smiling
anything.
like a Cheshire cat.
I was happy enough. And then on the run,
Into the longest transition ever?
yeah, not as in time wise, but bloody hell, you couldn't see the other end when you went in it. It was that long. I mean, I didn't realise that Mallorca 70.3 is the biggest 70.3.
So how many people did it? Was it 3,500?
3,800. Well, that was the entry. 3,800. I thought it was only like 2,500 or 2,000.
Yeah.
So, but apparently it's the biggest one in Europe or the world.
So
don't quote me on that.
To put that into comparison, I thought Kona was like the biggest transition I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
that was huge,
when we got into Mallorca, it was incredible. So basically, we rolled out of our hotel, and the main road that our hotel was on.
The hotel was in a fantastic place because it was that part of the trip was brilliant because the hotel, you walked out the back of the hotel from where we were,
and we're on the transition,
and you're literally straight into transition.
Yeah.
Even though transition was like 14 miles long, when I went into transition after the swim, ran obviously up from the beach, went into transition. I got my bike gear on and I didn't put my shoes on. I carried my shoes to my bike because it was miles to where my bike was. So I just ran with them in my hand until I got to my bike and then put them on. So because I thought there's no point being. Oh, it was really long, but it was really well organised, great event. The run course. Yeah, there was bits of it that were, but
we learned a bit on your first lap of your event, didn't you? You said to me, "So how am I doing?" I said, "Yeah, you're doing really well, babe." Which was a code for I'd like to know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I actually wanted to know how I was doing. Yeah,
and me and Phil looked at each other and was like, I actually think he wants to know statistics.
Yeah, I did want to know because I thought I've had a decent.
We didn't have that communication. And you were just like, how am I getting on? Yeah,
well, normally
really
it's just I'm just glad to be alive at that point, so it's not an issue. But because I'd had a good swim and I'd had a decent bike, because all the time when I was on the bike, I was expecting people to come past me and thinking, Carl's going to pass me in a bit. Because I knew obviously Carl would be a bit slower swimming, but I know he's mega fast on the bike. So I was thinking, right, well, Clark is in front, Uncle Rob will be in front, Chris will be in front, Pete Beverley will be in front. I know Alex was behind me because I'd passed him on the bike going up the climb. But I was expecting Carl to come past because Carl's fast on the bike, and I thought Carl's going to pass me at some point, and he didn't catch me. So I thought, well, I must be going quite well. So when I got out on the run, when I shouted, how am I doing? I actually wanted to know how I was doing, not just, you to confirm that, yeah, you're doing really well. I actually wanted to know, am I on to beat,
I knew your goal.
Am I on for my target, to beat my target or not? Or
did we get that on was that the second lap?
I think you were running.
Did I run
because
between?
The run course sort of weaved around, so you were running between streets. Well, no, you weren't running. You tried to run and then had to walk, didn't you? Because it hurt.
As a spectator, I went out on the bike course at the start.
You did, and we're relaying messages to the other supporters.
And I was stood there with Gary, and Gary was taking photographs of you all, so that was really nice of him. And so then I was telling everybody, like, so-and-so's out, that person's out, this person's out, and just checking you all through. And then come back in, went for breakfast with the gang, and we had some stressful moments because no one was moving on the tracker, and Harriet came up to me and went, Ali, we've got a problem. I was like, what's wrong? Daddy's got a puncture. I was like, how do you know? He's like, well, he stopped moving on the tracker. I was like, oh no, it's okay, don't worry. And then everyone stopped at this segment, and then we were like, well, maybe they're helping Steve with his puncture. Oh, anyway, we would then realise.
I like Steve, but
then we realised that there must have been like a GPS issue, and we think it was underneath the trees near the garage.
Oh, okay.
Before you started descent coming down, so there was kind of everyone. But then we realised that everyone stopped. Everyone's lost their thing at that point anyway as well.
I was actually thinking at one point, went on the descent.
I was tracking you
because I was thinking,
I don't think I could even watch you going.
I was thinking you'll be you'll be following me and thinking, oh no, he's on the descent now. And I mean, it is quite fast in places, and I was overtaking a lot of people going downhill. Although shout out to Simon Barker, who did repass me on the way back down near the bottom, I think, near Campany. He repassed me again.
Nice.
Don't worry, Simon, we'll have the photograph at some point. Yeah, Simon repassed me, but I was passing a lot of people. So many people were obviously quite slow descending, so you were just carving your way through them. Just shouting where you were passing on the left, or I mean, sometimes you had to pass on the right because people were all over the road. But I actually did think at one point, oh God, I hope you're not watching the tracker and watching what speed I'm doing, because you'll be having a nightmare. You've probably been on the gin by about 10 o'clock. So
there's no chance.
But yeah, anyway, back to the run course.
So you wanted, and I think I managed to get through, and he said, how are you doing? And you was like, am I on for sub 6? Because that was your goal. I said, yeah.
Yes, it was.
At that point, I think you were 5:44.
Yeah.
Now, if I'd have known that, this is just talking now, but you afterwards were like, why didn't you tell me that's what time I was on? I'd have probably tried to hold 5.
Yeah, because I did put my pace off a bit on the run because it was hot.
It was really hot.
But I reckon, I could have.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, it's hot. I'm on for. I was trying to work the numbers out in my head, thinking, right, 3:08 for the bike.
But run
35,
course was,
blah, blah, blah.
As an athlete and a spectator, was incredible.
Oh, yeah,
I think it was really good.
Yeah, it was.
What did you do? 3 loops?
3 7K loops. And you did a little bit where you ran like on the path alongside the beach, which was quite nice because you were under the trees and you got a bit of breeze. And then there was other bits through the town where there was a bit of shade you could dive under. The worst bit was the bit where you were stood out with Gary on the bit where you went all the way back down that road to the Repsol garage and turned and came back.
Yeah.
That seemed to take forever. On one lap, I didn't think I was ever going to get to the end. But there was aid stations every 2.5K. So it was a cup of water over your head, drink a little bit, have a gel or half a banana, and have it while you were running.
Yeah.
And I tried to keep around 8:45 pace, and that's what I managed to do.
Yeah.
So
Smashed it.
Yeah. So I came in quite happy with me sub 6 time.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So I was happy enough with that. Good. Felt all right at the end.
Yeah, you were really good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really, everything was really compact, and we didn't have to travel far. Our hotel was in a really good place. It was a nice hotel.
Amazing group of athletes to go with us.
Yeah, and a great group.
Shout out to everybody with a great week.
Great group.
Weekend.
Great week. Well, what?
Great
weekend. Great group of people. Some people obviously doing first Ironman events. Laura. Great performance by Laura. She was quite nervous, I think, before, but she absolutely nailed it. Little shout to Nicola Will, who did it with a broken foot. And she didn't realise she had a broken foot, did she?
No.
But then 2 stress fractures in her three stress fractures in her right foot. There's no wonder she was in pain. But still did it in 6 hours 21 or something.
Which is a massive
Which
PB
is like
to
40
last
minute PB from the year before with a broken foot. Hard as nails, that woman. Carl Harrington, PB, I think, around 5:30. Carl was, wasn't he?
Are you going to talk about the next day? Obviously, what happened on the next day?
The next day?
After the event, what did you all do?
What did we all do?
So, you all went to the awards ceremony.
Oh, yeah, we went to the awards ceremony, as you do. And a quick shout out to those 11 people, by the way, talking about the awards ceremony. So the 11 of us who did it, obviously, we're not the...
Clarkey finished 8th in his age group.
Clarkey was 8th in his age group, wasn't he? And then Uncle Rob did well points-wise. Yeah. Peter Beverley did as well. He had a really good bike leg. Yeah. Some good splits. Fast swims for Chris, fast swims for Rob and Steve.
And you.
Yeah, not as fast as them. They were rapid, but...
I mean, Clarkey did an amazing run, didn't he?
Yeah, what was his run? I'm going to say 120.
I
Or
think
was it less than
something
120?
like that.
I can't
It's
remember.
incredible. He ended up like, was he 4th fastest?
Yeah, something like
overall
that. Yeah, really fast run,
for
wasn't
the
it?
run.
The weird thing about the run, even though it was 3 laps, I hardly saw anyone.
You weren't all far from.
But it was really weird because I kept thinking, I'm going to see people.
Yeah.
And because there was a bit, obviously, where you
There was
went,
never
an
a
out and
point.
back.
There was
But
never a point from a spectator where you were always on the guard. Like there was one person, there's another person coming, and
I think I asked you at one point, is everybody in off the bike? And you said, yeah. And I thought, well, where are they all? Because I haven't seen anyone. Because Steve obviously
finished probably.
probably finished before I started running. I saw Chris once as I was coming on the bike. He was running, and I saw Peter Beverley, and I saw Carl because Carl was catching me on whatever.
Last lap.
Getting closer to me, and Carl passed me.
No,
on
you've both finished together.
Carl,
pretty much like 30 seconds at the thing.
He beat me. He was a bit more than that in front of me, but he. We saw each other at the finish. So I saw Carl because he was catching me and then he overtook me. But yeah, it was quite weird because you just expect with a long out and back bit that there was, I kept thinking, I'm going to see someone in a minute, but loads of people I didn't see at all. It's quite strange. But yeah, as an event, it was great. As a team, we finished 8th with 11 people. I mean, the team that won it, the French team, I can't remember what they were called, Tri Academy or something, weren't they? There was about 500 of them.
Oh, right.
So there's no wonder they won it. But we finished 8th out of however many teams there was, which I thought was pretty decent for, you know.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, it was good. Very well done to everyone. Well done, everyone.
Yeah, well done, everybody.
Very good. Yeah, so me and Uncle Rob, you know, being the Saga representatives of Off That Couch, we hung around, didn't we?
Oh,
you weren't there, but
me, Stunner, and Phil had gone out for a bike ride. I can't remember where we'd gone to do.
Actually,
we left early.
Yes, you
to
did.
Do just the lighthouse.
You told me we're just going to the lighthouse and back, and you came back 80 miles later. Yeah, and then came back and went straight to the room and laid down. It was like, oh, all right, well, what are you doing there? Because you were that knackered, you had to go to bed. So it was like, oh, brilliant. Yeah. So yeah. You didn't really know what was going on.
I've been up since a stupid o'clock. So anyway, I had seen my phone. I had seen my phone at this point. I think we'd stopped, and you'd gone to the award ceremony, and someone had put a picture up, and I was like, "That's my husband walking up onto the stage. What is going on?"
I was walking onto the stage because we hung around.
We're not going to
because it's like, well, what else are we going to do? Well, we'll just hang around. We'll just watch. So obviously, male age groups, when they were handing out the slots for the World Championships in Taupo, New Zealand, they started with the oldest age group and worked their way down. So obviously, Uncle Rob's age group was the one before mine. And I can't remember how many slots there were, but it got to the point where they'd shouted out the top 20 names and there were still a couple of slots left. So they said, well, is there anyone in that age, in the 55 to 59 age group who...
would like to go to New Zealand.
In the room who would like to go to the World Championships. So a few of them put their hands up, so they all walked up, and Rob being one, walked up.
Did Rob walk up then?
Yeah, Rob went up, so they all went up on stage, and obviously they took their numbers off the wristbands and checked the times and everything, and then the 2 fastest out of who went up got the spots. So unfortunately Rob didn't get one. And then it got my age group, obviously, the 50 to 54s, that's the next one. And there was 4 slots, because obviously it's a very competitive age group, and there's a lot of people in it. So there was 4 slots in my age group, and 1 got taken and 3 were left. And they did the same thing. They got down to 20, top 20, and then shouted out. And I thought, well, everyone, there's only a few of us left. It's like, you've got to go up. So I was like, well, I have, haven't I? I've got to go. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime. It never happen again. So it's like, I might even never do another Ironman event again. So it's like, if there's one little slightly chance, even if I can go to the World Championships as the slowest person ever to qualify, it's like you've got to have a go, haven't you? So I went up. So I think Chris had videoed me walking up to the stage, and that's what he'd sent you. So you'd have been panicking like hell. I was panicking, thinking, God, if I win, I've got to get my credit card out and pay for it. But it was,
The irony of it, though, because I'd chosen to enter Mallorca because my goal was
to
qualify
for New Zealand.
Zealand.
Yeah, well.
And there was me looking at thinking, oh, great.
Well, luckily for you, I was only one spot off going,
Yeah.
because when I went up, there was 6 of us up there, and I was the last one on the stage. So they'd already taken the numbers and written the finishing times down of everybody else. So I went like that and showed him my number, and I looked on the piece of paper and I thought, well, I'm faster than him, not faster than that one, not faster than that one. The last one I couldn't see it because the person who was writing the things down had their hand over on the paper. So I knew I was quicker than 2 of them, so it just depended on the last one. Anyway, I won 3 places and I was 4th, so I missed it by 1 spot. But otherwise, we'd have been going to New Zealand in December.
Because we wanted to go to New Zealand for Christmas, didn't we? And then your sister-in-law, your sister, was at that point was living in Australia, so
yeah, well, she's moved back
it strategically
here now, so
worked quite nice. So actually, because she's now back in the UK,
it would have been a bit different. Yeah, but it still have been nice to go to New Zealand.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
1 slot A, babe.
1 position, gutted. Yeah, but there you go. These things happen for a reason.
But yeah, so after that Mallorca, I can say right now is that I got my husband back, because you were a nightmare to live with, and you got your mojo back, and you've been loving life, and I think you would have quite happily slept in that t-shirt if you'd have wanted to.
Oh no, look, I had to put it on tonight, obviously, but I should have been drinking that little plastic cup that I got as well. It was quite nice.
But yeah, as an event.
It was. As an event, anybody who wants to go race abroad and do a 70.3,
Do that.
It's fantastic, because if you've got a family, you can take your family.
Yeah.
You stay in Alcudia. Everything's so central. You don't have to walk far for anything. Everything's really accessible. It's well organised, and the beach is nice. It's a really, I mean, the swim, you could see the bottom all the way out, all the way around the turn, boys, and all the way back. You could see it. It was that clear, and it was so flat. I think that's probably why I swam 35 minutes, because it was so flat. It was unbelievable. The bike course is scenic, nice. There's nothing really dangerous. All right, you've got to be careful on the descents. If you're not that confident descending, you've got to take it steady. But if you are confident descending, you'll love it, because it's fast as hell. And then I almost wanted knee sliders on at some points, because it was like, you could have gone a lot faster. And the run is laps, and I love laps on a run, because I just think you just tick them off in your head. You just go 1 lap done, 2 to go.
1 part run.
And
Well, it's safer when you need it.
Yeah, and that's what I kept saying. I mean, I know there were 7k laps, but I just kept saying it's just 3. It's just a little bit more than a part run. 3 part runs, that's all it is. Just go and do it. And it felt mentally quite easy. So yeah, if anybody wants an event to go abroad and do in a nice environment, really, it's at a nice time of year as well, I think.
Yeah.
Sort of second week of May, because it's not too hot. It was around probably 25 degrees at
it's the warmest day.
Warmest day they'd had for a while. So when we were running in the heat of the day at like 1 o'clock, it was hot, but there's a drink station every 2.5k.
Yeah.
So you've got plenty of water and everything you need, and it was good. Yeah, really, I would go back and do it again.
Well done.
Not next year though, but maybe in the future if Steve decides that it'll make it an event again for the club. I'll probably go back and do it.
Well done, babe.
Thanks. So that's that ticked off. So yeah, since then, it's been a bit, ticking over, aren't we, really? We went out and got wet through yesterday, didn't we? Good God, that was awful.
We haven't been, that's it, really. Just, yeah.
Yeah, ticking over. You've been getting some miles in on your bike, haven't you? The next thing we're doing is long course weekend.
Oh yeah, got a weekend in Wales, haven't we?
In Wales, which is the longest day weekend, 22nd and 21st of June. So we're down there for swim on the Friday, bike on the Saturday.
Run.
And I'm doing the run on the Sunday. You'll be biking again or drinking wine.
Yeah.
Or whatever you decide to do. But that'll be a nice... I'm just going to treat that as a training weekend.
It is.
Because I work, it's with work. Balancing work and everything at the minute is a little bit difficult. So, yeah, it'll be nice just to treat that as a training weekend, to get some good miles in running and biking, and another good sea swimming as well at Tenby.
That'll be it now until you go to Ibiza.
Till Ibiza at the end of September. So basically, it's just training towards that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. There's nothing else booked at the minute, is there?
Proud of you.
Thanks.
Well done. Well done, everybody else. Well done, team.
Yeah.
Very proud to see you all stood in the picture in that pool that day with your smiles on your face, your t-shirts and your medals around your neck. Yeah.
Maybe the picture will be in there in a minute. One of those. We'll send Tom the picture. So, is it there?
Ding.
That one. It's landscape, so it might be in that. It might be in that one. Think Tom. Yeah, that one. In Mike Aylwood. Remove Mike Aylwood.
So our second-hand bargains isn't going very well at the minute either, which is not a bad thing because we haven't bought anything.
No, because there's not really anything I need at the minute.
You've kind of got everything now, haven't you?
No, you've never got everything. There's always stuff you need. Don't ever say that. There's always
Well,
something.
I was nearly getting a new bike after my little incident in Mallorca.
Well, when you showed me that picture, I thought it was unrepairable.
You texted me saying, I think it's about time you buy yourself the Canyon then. I was like, brilliant.
Oh,
and then
I'm
when you
glad
realised it was repairable, and I was like,
Well,
wounded.
I thought it had just destroyed itself. When I realised your arm warmer had fallen out of your pocket and gone into your chain and into your derailleur and snapped it off, my attitude towards buying you a new bike changed immediately. It was like, well, you Wally, what happened there? You're not having you could get that repaired. You're not having a new one. Yeah, never mind. But
Next year.
so yeah, so on the horizon, it's
That's it.
yeah. Well, there might be other stuff, but not to talk about at the minute.
Team relays.
Team relays.
Teams have come out today.
Team relays, Tom. So he nodded. Tom, right, Rob, Uncle Rob, if you're watching.
Tell you what, if you get all these questions right on the
Quiz,
new feature quiz,
okay.
then I'll do it.
Oh, wonderful. Right, Rob. Oh.
Pressure.
So Uncle Rob, if you're watching, I know we're a couple of people short for relays because a couple have dropped out. So we've asked Tom, and obviously there is a chance he might do it.
I can't swim.
You can. It's
Can.
all right. Don't worry about that. As long as you don't
Sorry,
drown.
Mo.
Yeah.
Confession here.
Oh, your mum will be so disappointed, Tom. Oh dear.
Oh dear. So so Tom yesterday did Ride London, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
And
You've done that before.
Yeah.
Ride London,
Yeah,
haven't
done
you?
Ride London
Yeah. How
before.
many miles is Ride London?
100 miles.
Yeah.
103.
Is it going
Oh,
to?
103.
Does
Don't forget the
Does
3.
it go into Essex?
Yeah,
out
well
into
they've
Essex?
changed the
Yeah,
route that many times.
Changed it
now.
a few times.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you where it went, but it was long.
It's an icon. At the end of the day, it's probably the most iconic
Yeah.
ride in the UK to do. So, yeah.
It was cool coming back onto the Tower Bridge
Yeah.
at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were plenty of people there cheering you on. It's
Yeah.
good. It wasn't quite London Marathon vibes, but it
Yeah.
wasn't far off.
Yeah.
Good. So, time for a new feature then.
Yeah, time for a new feature.
So this might not happen every podcast, but not that we're short of material or anything, but we haven't got a second-hand bargain and we haven't got a guest. So it's time for Tom's Triathlon Quiz, which, according to Tom, is going to be 4 questions each, multiple choice answers.
Du, du, du.
Winner gets
Dun, 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 dun.
that beer over there.
What, that empty bottle of
Well,
beer?
that the empty bottle of Big Wave. Yeah,
The Melbourne.
Just to clarify, Tom did not decide on Tom's Triathlon Quiz as being the name.
I think that's good though, don't you?
If
Oh no, what about Tom's Triathlon Teasers? That's even better, isn't
It's
it?
getting worse, right?
Okay,
Yeah, it's
okay,
getting
You're
worse.
minus 1 point already. So.
Oh.
Okay, question 1. In an Olympic triathlon, how long is the penalty for drafting violations? So it's A, B, C, or D. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute? You can talk me through the answer.
I'm going to say 30 seconds because I've heard 30 seconds before, but I don't know whether that's in an Olympic distance. So I'm going to say 30 seconds.
Ali looks like she knows the answer to this.
She probably does because she's more experienced than me.
What's the answer, Ali?
I think it's a minute.
It is a minute. Well done. You don't get the point.
No,
You get
but I get the
glory.
accolations.
Yeah, well done. It's all right. It's just showing how little I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
learning.
Okay, question 2 for you, Ali.
Okay.
What is the most common cause of disqualification in the swim segment of a triathlon? Is it unsportsmanlike conduct, missing a buoy, wearing a non-regulation wetsuit, or drafting off another swimmer?
Missing a boy.
That is correct.
That's what I would have said.
1-0.
2-0. Oh no,
No.
1-0. Oh
It's
yeah,
1-0,
1-0.
Question 3 for you, Andy.
Thanks.
Actually, these are weighted more towards Ali, but never. Question number 3. Who was the first woman to win the Ironman World Championship 4 times in a row? Was it Paula Newby-Fraser, Chrissy Wellington, Natasha Badman, or Erin Baker?
The second one.
Chrissy Wellington?
Yeah.
Is that what you would have said? It's not correct. It's
Oh.
Paula Newby-Fraser.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Hinchy will be falling off his sofa at
Still
this point
1-0.
now, disgusted in the lack of knowledge I have. Yeah.
And me.
Question number 4. In which year did the triathlon make its debut in the Olympic Games? Was it 1996, 2000, 2004, or 2008?
1996.
I think it's pretty recent. I don't think it's been in that long. I'm going to say 2008.
It was 2000.
Oh, both wrong. Oh well, there you go. Then.
It was
Question,
Still 1-0 after 10 questions. We're not doing very well, are we?
question 5. In the Ironman World Championships in Kona, Hawaii, what is the specific cut-off time for the entire race? Is it 15 hours, 16 hours, 17 hours, or
It's me.
18 hours? This is for you,
What's this
Andy.
for me?
What was the times, Tom?
15, 16, 17 or 18. It's not 15 or 16. I'm going to say 18 then.
I think it's actually earlier than that. But I think they changed it. I think it's 16.
17.
Oh!
I don't think it was 18.
So close.
I knew it wasn't 15 or 16.
You don't get a point for that.
No, I know that. Yeah.
Okay, question 6. The triathlon is for you, Ali. The triathlon was designed to be an alternative to hard track training. The first triathlon event was held on September the 25th, 1974 in San Diego. What order was the triathlon completed? So was it swim, bike, run, bike, swim, run, swim, or run, swim, bike?
Ooh.
Run, swim, bike. No, hang on.
Oh no,
I
that's your
actually-
first. Now that's your first answer. You can't change your mind. That's how it works. I know.
It
we
wasn't
did.
swim, bike, run.
Well, no, you said it was something else.
I'm the quiz master, it's fine.
Oh, you creep. Oh.
What was the one that I said last? What did I say?
Can't remember. It was that long ago.
I think it was run, swim, bike. I think it's run, swim, bike.
Run, swim, bike. Okay.
What do you think, Andy?
I think it was bike, run, swim. Just to be awkward.
It was run, bike, swim. So no,
Oh, swim last.
Swim last.
Is it still 1-0?
Run,
Yeah, still 1-0 after
Run.
18 questions.
Run, bike,
Right,
swim.
Andy. Who won the men's individual gold medal at the last Olympics in 2021? Was it Jonathan Brownlee, Hayden Wilde, Christian Blumenfeld, or Alex Yee?
I'm going to say Christian Blumenfeld.
Alex, you wasn't it?
Andy was correct.
Oh.
It was Christian Blumenfeld. 1-1.
Oh.
This is the last question. Okay, Sean Conway broke the world record for most consecutive Ironman distance triathlons this year. How many did
Oh,
he do?
God.
So
I
these are on consecutive.
I remember
days.
reading this.
So was it 27, 57, 102, or 115?
102.
115.
102.
Oh!
You're not going to do 100 and 100, are you? You're always going to go
You've
just
gotta
a
go
little
more
bit
than-
over.
you've gotta go
You're not going
more.
to go to 115.
No, you got to stop. You got to go a bit more.
Yeah.
I knew it was over 100.
Yeah.
So this week's winner is Ali. Well done, Ali.
We'll win anything. Thanks.
Yeah, you win that empty bottle of Big Wave
Yeah, that's good.
all the way from Kona. Well done. Great knowledge there. 2-1.
Denise sharpen up on my triathlon knowledge because
I
to be
don't-
fair, you've
yeah.
got probably know more than I do.
No, I don't think so. I don't know anything about it. Really. Blimey. Well done.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom, for
Though-
that.
though-
That's very...
Sorry we ain't got a medal for you. No, never mind. So, that's it then.
Yeah.
So, thanks for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. We were pretty rubbish. Well, I was
You
anyway.
can have a laugh about it anyway.
Terribly
if
rubbish.
anything.
But yeah, have a laugh about that. And
Well done, Team Mallorca.
yeah, and if you've got any questions, if we do another quiz, if you've got any that are even more difficult than that, send them in. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.